Cool. So, guys, good morning and good evening, everyone. So, guys, if you remember, we have studied a brief overview on a SDLC in our yesterday's session, right? SDLC, which is a software development life cycle. So, guys, sorry about my voice today. So, I'm suffering with a severe cold, due to which my voice is not coming properly. Kindly ignore it for today. Okay. SDLC, which is a software development lifecycle. In order to develop a software application, what are all the various stages involved in it? We call it as a software development lifecycle. That's what we have studied yesterday. Additionally, we have also seen that gathering of requirements, learning, design, development, testing, delivery, and a maintenance, right? So these are all the various stages that we have in order to develop any particular software. If you remember, guys, I have told you one small example yesterday, which is construction of a house. Construction of a house. So consider that one among those stages in order to construct a house is choose a civil engineer. This is a stage. So if you remember, the various stages that we have studied yesterday are: first one is choose land. Did you remember that? Choose land, purchase the land, choose a civil engineer, choose civil engineer, give contract to him, choose an interior designer, give contract to him, housewarming, house shifting. Right, guys. So these are the various stages that we have seen yesterday. If you consider choosing a land as an example, is it possible for us to select a land for our house construction within an hour or so? Is it possible to do that? So basically, I'm constructing my dream house. Consider that I'm constructing my dream house. So I have a couple of key things in my mind for my dream house. So the first thing is it should be very near to my office. It should be very near to my school, my kids' school, basically. Okay. And of course, it should be very near to shopping malls for all the access. And moreover, I should have a good amount of greenery. So these many requirements are there in my mind. So I need to select a land that fulfills all these requirements, which may take a multiple days of time, right? And moreover, I need to choose a multiple sites in order to get this activity completed. So, which means on a high level that I can say that if you come back to this particular SDLC, even the gathering of requirements will not complete immediately. There are again some sort of activities involved inside that. The same way, the planning also, the design also, the development, testing, and a delivery. Individual phases does has individual sets of activities involved. So, which may take days of time for us to complete that particular activity. As we are a manual tester, we are gonna study more about this testing phase itself. Okay, so we should have an idea on what is the gathering of requirements, what they are gonna do, what is the planning, what is the design, what is the development. We should have an idea on individual phases. Okay, we should have an idea on an individual phases, but we as a testers As we are testing the application, we should, okay, thoroughly study about this particular testing. Okay, we should thoroughly do this particular testing, and okay, we need to study all the terminologies that you have inside of this particular test. Okay, that's what the ultimate point that you need to consider. Good enough. Done the deal. Then the next point. Okay, let me save this document so that I don't miss this document for you. Okay, I'll be sharing this document from today. Okay, good enough. Then the next point here is, okay, we understood about a SDLC and got to know that various people involved in developing an application. We as a testers comes in testing phase itself to check whether the developed application is working as per the customer needs or not. Okay, perfectly right. Then the next point that I need to consider here is, okay, the next point that I need to consider here is, okay, we are pretty much clear about this particular SDLC flow. In SDLC, we have different methodologies basically. SDLC it has a different methodologies. We have an agile methodology, we have an iterative methodology, we have a waterfall methodology. There are multiple methodologies that we have in order to develop a software development lifecycle. So immediately a question that comes in our mind, Surendra, what is this methodologies? I'm not clear with it. Let me give you a simple example so that you can better understand about these methodologies. So the point here is Surendra and Sneha. Okay, we have two people here. Their requirement is to construct a house. As their requirement is to construct a house, both requirement is one and the same. The difference here is Sneha is having a huge amount of money. Okay, Surendra is having a very less amount of money. So both started their house construction. But what the Sneha does is, as she's having a huge amount of money, she is, as she's having a huge amount of money, she wants to complete her construction within 3 months. Ideally, for both of us, in order to complete the construction, it took 9 months. Ideally, it need a 9 months. But Sneha wants to complete the construction within a 3 months. What she is gonna do? She will increase number of people who are working on the construction. As she is having a huge money, she is increasing the number of people who are working on her construction, with which she is reducing the time. Ideally, in a day, 5 to 10 people should work. But as she is having a money and she wants to complete her activity in a shorter span of time, she is putting 30 people in a day. So, with which, instead of completing that work in a 9 months, it's getting completed within a 3 months itself. That's the beauty here. So, the point that we need to understand from here is the point that we need to understand from here is depending on our requirement. Surendra, he don't have a much money. What he has done, as he don't have a much money, so he's keeping just 3 to 5 resources in a day, and he is taking around 9 months to complete his construction. Ultimate thing that happening here is both are constructing a house. The only difference is Surendra need a 9 months and Sneha need just 3 months to complete her construction. If you observe the difference, depending on the need, they are customizing their construction. A similar way here also, in order to develop a software application, Depending on the customer needs, organization will customize their development process, which falls under the various software development lifecycle methodologies. For suppose, if in yesterday's example, guys, for suppose Rajesh wants to develop a similar kind of a book my show website. So ideally for IBM, consider that they need a 6 months of time. But Rajesh asked IBM to complete within a 3 months. So what the organization will do in order to complete it within a 6 months, they may assign four developers, three testers. Just an example. As Rajesh is asking us to complete in a shorter span of time, they will include 10 developers and six testers. I'm just giving you an example here. Okay, so depending on a customer need, the organization is further customizing it. Okay, the organization is further customizing it. Perfect. So this is about why we need a different sets of methodologies in a SDLC. Am I clear for you guys or any doubts on this one? Anil, Karthik, Monica, Jan, and Linda. Am I clear for you with these examples?
Yes, Surendra.
Okay,
Yes, it is clear.
good. And the next point that I need to consider here is okay. So we will study more about this SDLC moving further. Not at this point. Okay. So not at this particular point. As of now, we need to focus more on our testing. Okay. We need to focus more on our testing. Okay, so here what we need to do is, as we are focusing more on our testing, the first and a foremost thing that we should know is what is a testing? What is a software testing? So guys, as said, after a couple of sessions, we will come back to SDLC. We will study about various methodologies and then we will study about agile methodology. The reason why I am switching right now is, as of now, in the real world, nowadays, everyone is using agile methodology. Okay, everyone is using agile methodology in order to develop their applications. If I directly start about an agile methodology, you don't know what was we were using earlier before the agile methodology. So that's the reason we will start with traditional software testing first of all. Okay, so what is a traditional software testing? We will study first of all for a couple of days and we will understand that, okay, what is the software testing, what we use it to do and all those things. And then we will study about agile methodology, what was the initial process and how it was converted into the agile methodology and what is the process that we were following right now. As part of the agile methodology, we will study moving further so that you can correlate the things and that would be easy for you. Okay, that would be easy for you to understand the concept. Okay, perfectly all right. Now, so let us see about what is a software testing. So guys, just give me a second, please. Okay, so what is a software testing? Right. It is a process of verifying. It is a process of verifying, are we developing the right product or not, and validating whether the developed product is right or wrong. Okay, whether the developed product is right or not. So if you see the definition here, software testing is equal to verification plus validation. Verification. Are we developing the right product or not? Validation. After development, whether it is up to the customer needs or not, which we call it as a validation. Guys, if you clearly observe in our day-to-day activities, we were doing verification, guys. So, a best example for this verification. See, guys, I went to a medical store. Okay, I went to a medical store and I want to purchase a medicine for my cold, for cold basically. I want to purchase a medicine for cold. What I will do, as and when the medical rep has given a medicine for me, I will look at the expiry date. This is the initial verification that I am doing. If the expiry date is beyond of 1 year, then only I will purchase it. If it is closer to expire, I won't purchase that particular product. Right. The similar way, I went to a shopping mall and I'm purchasing some snacks. For each and every product that you are purchasing, you will check the manufacturing date and expiry date, right? We will be checking both the dates basically in purchasing a particular product. The similar way here also, the verification means if someone is doing some activity in the real world, they will cross check whether they have done appropriate things or not. Another example from a real world examples we have seen. Another example from a software world. Okay, see, consider that Sneha needs to send an email to her senior manager. Consider that senior manager. Her manager asked her to send a couple of points, so Sneha needs to send a message to her senior manager. So, what she usually does, so she will draft the email and she will check a couple of times whether all the points were covered within that email or not. And moreover, we will also check whether it is grammatically correct or not, right? Even she will check whether it is a grammatically correct or not. Also, she will verify that. This process, we call it as a verification. Okay, the verification means whomsoever is responsible for the SDLC individual phases right after completion of their work, if they are reviewing whether they have done an appropriate work or not, which we treat it as a verification, guys. Okay, verification means I'm doing something. I'm just cross checking whether I'm doing a proper thing or not. A best real world example is I kept my Google map to reach to a destination, to reach to a stadium. I will cross check whether I kept an appropriate stadium or not, whether I'm going in a right direction or not. I will cross check in between, which itself we call it as a verification. The similar way, in developing a software application, we as a human beings are involving. There is a possibility that we commit a mistakes which may have a huge impact on the application. That's the reason we will cross check a couple of times before doing the activity, which itself we call it as a verification. Is this verification clear for you guys or any doubts on this one? Everyone, is this verification clear for you?
Yeah, Surendra.
Yes, Surendra.
Okay, good. Done the deal. Okay, then the validation. Okay, so what exactly this particular validation is then? So validation is ideally done only by two sets of the people in our software world, which is okay, a developer, okay, which is a developer and a tester does this validation. What they will do means customer asked us for this particular thing, whether what we have developed is meeting the customer needs or not. Whatever customer asked us, whether we develop the same thing or not, we will validate it. So by checking it in a UI, we will validate it. Okay, by checking it in the UI, we will validate it. That process, we call it as a validation. So ultimately, in the real world, software testing is the process of a verification and a validation. Okay. So still, there are a lot more things that we need to study about a verification and a validation that we will start from the next session, guys. I will take a pause here for today. I will explain about much more details on a verification. What are all the sub stages that we have in a verification? In detail about a validation and what are all the sub stages that we have in a validation from the next session. And guys, our next session is going to start from Tuesday morning India time, which is a Monday evening USA time. That's going to be our regular sessions. And from then, our session duration is going to be 1 hour. So please make sure that you are attending the sessions from Monday without a fail. Okay, done the deal. Let's take a pause here for today. See you again on a Monday.
Sir, Monday what time? Can you please repeat?
I will confirm you the timings over the WhatsApp group. I think you are there in that WhatsApp group, right? So I will publish that in a WhatsApp group. Okay.